trying something different. Nature park. Yeah, park's being watched. It's a little bit windy. Connected to elementals. Usually I'm not around trees, usually I'm around sand. Trying to get maybe the beach, whatever break. Hopefully the camera doesn't get, or the audio, the mic doesn't get too much of a wind. What's these things? So we tap into the elements. I talked about Atlantis. There's also subject matters have been coming up about connecting to like a higher self, or like having or the higher self of others, which can be kind of confusing. Like you connect to someone's higher self, that's like that's a good connection, but you connect to the person and you get something completely opposite. And imagine that's quite common. I'm trying to keep it as general as possible, but it can get kind of confusing there when you connect to someone's higher self. And of course, in the astral realms, you do get a different version altogether. But when you connect to someone spiritually, then the human is like I said, the complete opposite, and can get very draining because the human is very can be very primitive, third dimensional, and even the astral self. Well, there's just a lot more known in the astral, and just they can do a lot of different soul development, but they may not have enough incarnations here to develop. And they have to go. You gotta go through a lot of stuff. You kind of break out of your old human. It depends. Everyone has a different process, but you have to kind of go through a lot of trials to break out of the old programming, to be a bit more. You gotta break your shell. Either by being the villain or going through a lot of. It's different for everybody. You don't always have to go through all that, but everyone has their own process. Of course, you can always incarnate just as an alien being, but then have all its health issues and all that, because we're just incarnate as a primitive human. You kind of move up the levels. You just can be just a badass barbarian and then get executed, and trials and tribulations. Awaken that way. Being in the third dimension it can be fun. I guess it all depends on your version of fun. It's not for everybody, of course, to do that, but of course you can incarnate as an alien being, but like I say, it can also be very robotic depending on what alien group you come from. They can be very aggressive, like with the reptilians and so on. So there's different ways of interpreting. You can't go through everyone, but like I say, tapping. Well, the whole idea is to, get your human. The idea really is for this world to, upgrade to more of an understanding of the galactics. But you gotta start, somewhere. The bottom of the barrel, like we're at right now. Look how long it's taking. We're not really getting anywhere either. You really have your work situation, all that, but still many are just not. It's a process. It's a slow. Of course, we have everything hitting us constantly, but still, that's like with the economy and everything. That's kind of like a snap people out of their comfort zones, you can say, to some level. Like I said, 2008 was an awakening, 9/11 was an awakening, and so on. So it doesn't have to be like that, but sometimes the soul needs a little bit of a knock in the head. And it's tough. I see the shadow of myself. I didn't see that before. Connecting also to the elementals. Of course, you have the water, the rings, realms, the dragons and the elf, cycles, and you can learn there too, and But then you can be, depends on the situation, warrior like here to some level, or just loving of nature and kind of just dismissive of humans depending on the situation. Depending on this situation. Oh, because there are some that just love it, can talk to a tree, but can't talk to a person. But I can talk to nature, they cannot talk to people at all. It doesn't mean all elementals are like that, but there's some element of that. Of course, nature can be quite vicious. No doubt about it. It's can be have its own mood. Of course, yeah, Mother Earth. If she's going to do something, she's going to do it. You can blame the Illuminati, the elites, whatever the Earth is going to do, what she's going to do. And she's, of course, been through a great deal, and she does that through everyone. And imagine the amount of, think about being an Earth being and going through what everyone else is going through here. And still, the world is still, there's no set timeline for connecting to the galactics. Of course, there are assisting. It comes to mind too, this site. It's just a regular park, but this site can be a UFO can be a landing site of some kind. Just comes to mind for some reason. Sort of. Why not? There's nothing around. Who's to say nobody? Someone's always somewhere. Tree frequencies. Just radiating good, positive energy, but also the filtering emotions and what we're going through. So just through the nature's frequency, they go through what we go through in their own way. They're helping us filter out just our, our baggage. Of course, it comes back as a storm. They've been through enough. Let's flood, wash it out. And it seemed like, which I never really tapped into that before with the trees. They hit a level of, at least that's what I'm feeling here, a level of just people need a break. And that was through rain. Of course, rain can also cause difficulties with driving, travel, but also just cleanse. So just the cleanse of everything. The trees had enough of it. It's we all need a break here. I know it's difficult driving through it all, but they don't care about that. But it still does cause some to not travel. It just kind of slows things down depending on the storm levels. Let's put it that way. I can feel it through what I'm picking up from them. They get to, it feels like the tree energy is nature, but the trees get to a point where it's let it rain. Of course, not all areas have that. If you're in Arizona, out in the middle, the desert, just, I guess to say, just let some wind blow every once in a while. Of course, different parts of the world have different, it all works together, but, it's you have, the deserts of the U.S. kind of do a clearing of, what's going on in Africa and so on. So, obviously there's much more to it than that. We can go into an elemental connection here. I do have can't see it, probably that where the moon is. I guess you can't see it. Looks almost full at least. Alright, I guess we can tap into the moon. I guess we can tap into the moon energy. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. Alright, blessings. Greetings to the moon consciousness. There's just a lot of shouting, yelling, pain of just not getting what one wants from a human perspective. Of course, the astral realms is always saying wait or take it easy, and yes, love yourself more and slow down. Many do not stop and smell the roses. Most don't. Well, you can't. course, you're here to. If you're in a hyperactive reality, when someone's always needing your attention, it shows that it is spiritual work. It's just, it's that you become a vessel of just assisting others, where it's just they need your assistance to get through their lives. And many of you hit a wall too. Of course, basically you're helping them through like their timeline to get to where they're, they can get straggly, they can get, you can stop, as many of you know that. And the idea is to, if they're looking for help, which is good, they're trying to bypass any blockages to get what they're looking for. Of course, not everyone's. Some are looking for guidance, and then they get guidance and they just shut down. Be surprised. And the moon frequencies is to make sure you follow what you're here to do. Basically, your soul contract. Basically, the ground you into the physical. Everything here is the ground, but the moon and everything. The earth, of course, the moon's kind of like to magnetize you to like a magnet field to keep you, balanced with the earth's frequencies. Because as you know, emotions and just yes, even the psychotic mind of the human, basically nature itself is, like the heavy, the rocks and mountain areas actually sucking in a lot of the emotional frequencies. Like it's kind of like a barrier. It's cycling through it and goes to the earth itself. So of course sometimes you have earthquakes, but the earth needs like a time to breathe a little. It can take in a lot, but there's nothing wrong with humans going through all, they kind of like their temperature, not exactly their temperature, but they kind of hit a level of kind of like when they want to, when they need to vent. Of course, the earth needs to do the same thing at some point. But it's testing the soul too. It's like you're kind of filling yourself up with challenges, and then eventually you have to have a bit of an explosion, you could say. Of course, many of you are hell-bent on relationship energies, but a lot of times that is, not always, but there are times where they're just trying to avoid themselves. Yes, they're popping pills, you could say. Looking for relationship, kind of like grabbing one, vine after the other, and just traveling, but not really stopping to know oneself. So, and it's avoidance, not always. There are cases where it is that. Now, if you're connected to friends is one thing, but a lot of times relationship energies is just, it helps. Yes, you bring children. Of course, children help you. Like if you're not going to reflect on yourself, they'll get you to do it. It's like, oh, good. I can brought a kid into one. Now the kid's becoming a terror. It's like a reflection of your own frequency. You got your mini me that's now basically throwing all your stuff back at you. And of course, you get frustrated when everyone's going insane. But if you can't focus yourself, face yourself, now you got someone to help you do it. And sometimes the children do feel like they are the parents to some level, but not exactly. But there is a little bit of, because they're kind of channeling the parents. So they feel like they're the parent, but they're actually, you're mirroring each other. Maybe in a clash, it's stuff that people don't want to hear probably. But it is a clash of the titans. It's like, it is kind of like a war sometimes. All levels. But actually the Mother Earth wants that to happen. I mean, it wants you to find yourselves in whatever path you need to do it. Whatever. And some do the drug situation. That's another way of escape. And the earth will just kick you back here no matter what. Even if you do get yourself lost in the ghost realm, it's still going to have a way to kick you back here eventually in the physical to finish your rollout, as long as it takes. And don't think you're outsmarting the earth. Don't think that ever. It's never going to happen. But you have good intentions. You're trying to do the best you can. And that's good. And those are deceiving reality. Good luck, though. Yeah, it all comes back to them eventually in some form. But sometimes you're just here to mend a lot of fences, especially those that just don't plan for their death. Because some plan to live forever, and then it doesn't go to plan, then they kind of regret it, then they have, especially when you have children that they didn't really pay attention to, and built so much karma there. So like if you're a parent that doesn't kind of blows your kid off, and your kid's like a nervous wreck, well, what can happen is that child becomes the parent, and you become the kid of that. And you're kind of learning from them, even there sometimes, or they become some other bizarre relationship. We have to go into all the details of that. But sometimes it depends on the child. But yeah, they can be the parent of you and not exactly put you through, but kind of resolve where you're lacking sometimes. Or they just become lovers. I know. It's sometimes then it's hell. It depends on the situation. Yeah, it depends on what kind of relationship they have with astral. And then that's turbulent. Well, because you kind of this is probably not brought up. So like with a parent and a kid, and like that's completely strange. So okay, that's not working. So now you develop a new relationship, and that would be a romantic relationship. Because there's some kind of love. It might be a complete hell. But you're kind of graduated out of that into another dynamic, and that can be a romantic partnership and things like that. It doesn't mean you have to get married or anything. Who knows? It sounds strange, but you're kind of wiping out the parent energy, and now you're going into a different cycle. And you can do that in you do it astrally, but you most likely find some kind of physical realm to fight it out. To clear the karma. So yeah, just giving you some probably things people don't want to hear. But then again, yeah, you wonder how you graduate from that. Yeah, it's different for everyone, but there is a graduation from parenthood. Doesn't mean it has to go into that. It can be going to a brother and sister situation, or just that's the end of it. It all depends, but there's karma left. That's just trauma. It can go into romantic connection. If there is kind of a love there, it can be completely toxic, but you'd be surprised, and they're not gonna, will they remember it? No, but it's like, how do we resolve this? There's different ways, and that's one of them. It's kind of messed up when people, that's why you don't remember this stuff. But how do you resolve these issues? You gotta find what scenario can you go through to fix the broken connection there, if you even want to do it. If you want to, you don't always have to. Depends on the situation. But if you like a parent that just completely neglected your kid, yeah, it's going to come back and get you at some point. You can't run it forever.